All right, everybody, and welcome to our post-episode Game of Thrones recap. We are going to be recapping Season 8, Episode 1, called Winterfell, after a nearly 2-year hiatus from Game of Thrones. It was nice to get back into Game of Thrones, freaking finally.
595 days.
Yeah, 595 days. I think I joked when it finished up last time that I hoped I was still alive when it started up again.
You did.
It turns out that was the case, fortunately. But yeah, so Corey, why don't we start with you? Because me and Val have talked about it quite a bit. We've watched the episode 3 times. Yeah. We wanted to do it more, but we had other things going on. So let's hear your thoughts first.
I don't think. I mean, they could have put out the most hot garbage episode ever, and I still would have been excited to watch it. I don't think they could have done any wrong. That said, I wasn't crazy about the episode, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I know it was a setup episode, which is fine. I don't have an issue with that, but something just fell off, and I'm not sure what it was. It was like pacing was weird or something like that. I don't know.
Totally got that.
Yeah, there was some level of awkwardness there that I still haven't really been able to put my finger on or clearly articulate very well. But, I mean, I still loved it. It didn't really matter. It didn't affect anything. Still very exciting and very fun. And, I really have no complaints other than I don't know, but there was something awkward about it.
Yeah. So I totally got the awkwardness, too. But I have to say, having watched it a few times now, the awkwardness is less.
Okay.
So I don't know if it was just getting back into the swing of things or like... Yeah. There were a couple parts, though, that I was like, this kind of feels weird. Like, but I think it did get better, like, watching it more than once. So just something to think about.
Yeah, maybe it's just because it's new, you know? Yeah. Like, I know you guys have watched the series how many times?
7.
I've probably watched it complete 7 or 8 times.
Yeah, sure.
So
easily.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've rewatched up into, I think we're in the middle of season 5 right now. This is just our second through, so I haven't watched as much as you guys, but that could be, you know, it's just new, so it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I wondered that.
Watch.
Yeah, I wondered that too, because we've watched it so many times. Like, we know all of the episodes so well now that I was like, how does this one fit in? But now that I've watched it again, like, it does fit in, and I see where it has a place. So, yeah.
Okay. Do we want to? How do we want to structure this? First of all, we should have planned this out ahead of time, but
it's okay. I took down like all what I thought were the main points. I just read an episode recap, and as I was reading it, bulleted out what I thought were the most important aspects. If you just want to run through those bullet points, we can do that.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Sure.
So the first one, food and supplies are running low in Winterfell. They have their court, I guess you want to call it. Actually, a lot of things happen in that scene where Jon and Sansa and Daenerys are at Winterfell after Daenerys has arrived with the caravan, which was kind of cool to see everybody showing up in the caravan and seeing the Hound arrive for the first time since Arya left him, right? We haven't seen him since.
Yeah. The part with the Brotherhood, where he travels with the Brotherhood to the Wall, and they go. He's one of the ones that goes north of the Wall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've seen him just everywhere.
That's the first time Arya's seen him, and probably didn't necessarily realize that he was still alive.
Yeah, no, she was shocked to see that he was still alive, because he shouldn't have been, really.
Yep, so that was cool. But yeah, once the plot stuff starts to kick in, they realize that they don't have enough food to feed everybody, and Sansa asks the question sort of rudely, looking at Daenerys like, what do dragons eat? Like, you know, they weren't prepared to have all these people here. So what are they going to do? And there's a cool moment there with Lyanna Mormont, who stood up and said, you know, Jon Snow, we made you king of the North, not this random blonde woman. So that's going to factor in pretty heavily, I think.
Yeah, they definitely played up the whole North not liking Daenerys very much.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go in the episode, the Northerners were not cheering Daenerys as like a savior. They were kind of like, I don't know how to feel about this. And Jon, said, North, it's they're
Stubborn.
wary of outsiders. So
Yeah.
And I don't think it helps that she's like stunning, especially against like she
Right.
just stood out so much in this town of, you know, they all have dark hair and they're kind of dirty and like they all have dark dreary clothes and she's like this shining like beam of light and like I think she's gorgeous, you know, so like
There's
she
that
comes
contrast.
in, you know, that contrast like on top of them just not trusting her, then she comes in and looks like that and it's like, well, she's not even close to being like us, you know, because we're all dirty and all that. So yeah.
I thought the to bring up the supplies thing, Corey, too, I thought that was a little bit strange of a complaint, because I mean, if you're Sansa, you have to assume first of all that you're not going to be facing a protracted siege against the Night King in a battle. And pretty much once that battle's over, you have to assume that they're going to leave. I don't know. I didn't get the impression that they were there for the entire winter, you know, but maybe that was the plan that they just didn't cover. But I just thought that was a weird thing to say.
Yeah, I didn't think of that either. That's a good point.
And I think, too, like, for her to bring up supplies, like, one thing that I think kind of got forgotten somewhere in this episode was, like, the dead are through the wall. Like, they're freaking coming. Like, Winterfell's right there. So they're, like, I felt like they were like, we need months and months of rations. It's like, no, the dead are going to be here in, like, 2 days. Yeah. So I didn't get, like...
You need sandwiches.
Yeah, like, just get some, like, get a couple things. Like, everyone's going to be okay. Because, like, do you really think everyone's going to survive this and need food? Yeah, like, it was really weird to
Like
me.
I said, it's not going to be a siege, you know? You have to assume that things are going to happen quickly in the battle. It's not going to be protracted.
Yeah,
so.
like, yeah. I don't know. It just felt... That felt strange to me, for sure.
Also, the beginning of the sort of last hearth plot begins there because we see Ned Umber for the first time, right? It's the first time we see.
No, he was at the end of season 7.
Yep.
See?
Just
that's why I need to rewatch.
Yeah, there was the part where Sansa wanted to take away the homes of the Karstarks and Umbers, but Jon's like, no, you know, you can't fault a child for their parents' sins, and you can't take a family's home away from them for a couple bad apples.
Yeah.
He just made Ned Stark and Alice Karstark swear. Ned Umber, did I say?
You said
Ned Stark, yeah. Ned Umber and Alice Karstark made them swear oaths of fealty again to Jon and the Starks.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a little cute kid though.
Yeah.
Trying to address his lord and his lady, or however he phrased it.
That was adorable. I loved that part. He was like, I don't know what to do. What do I call you people? I'm like 10. Like, what do I do?
Yeah, usually you have like a steward that helps you with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
But who knows?
Did you guys know he was dead once Sansa sent him?
No, I had no idea. I mean,
didn't see that coming.
No,
I had a strong feeling that he wasn't
coming back.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
I thought maybe he'd go back and like his people would be like, you know, forget them, like the Glovers did, you know.
Yeah.
Freaking Glovers. Can't trust them.
Also, Jon and Arya's interaction I thought was really funny and cool when they meet each other. I forget the name of that stupid tree.
Weirwood.
When they meet at Weirwood, it's really cool when Arya pulls out Needle and Jon's like, "Oh, have you used it much?" And Arya's like,
once
or twice.
Like,
she could probably kill Jon, right?
Yeah,
probably. Probably.
At this point.
Yeah.
So I really can't wait to see what's in store for Arya this season. She's my favorite character. So.
Oh, I like that as a favorite character. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
No, I thought that was a cool scene. That you know, that was one of the
great.
reunions that a lot of people were looking forward to, and for me, it was good, a good reunion.
So I was actually terrified of that scene a little bit.
Yeah.
Because this show has a ton of foreshadowing, and there was a scene. God, I don't even know. It was when Arya and Sansa got back together in season 7, and Sansa says to Arya, like, Jon's going to be so excited when he sees you, his heart will probably stop. And I was like, shut up.
Wait a second.
Don't even say that Jon's heart is going to stop when he sees Arya again. And so I was very relieved that his heart did not stop. But I loved the parallels to the first or season 1 in Jon, and I have that in my notes, so I'll talk about it. But there were a lot of parallels, like the way she ran up and jumped on him, and like Needle, and just kind of their exchange. It was reminiscent of season 1, so that was really cool to see. I loved the scene, and I loved that Arya was kind of like being badass, like don't forget who your family is, but also like I'm so happy you're here, you know. So it was cool to see that. Mm-hmm.
You think the Starks are going to turn on each other at some point?
I have thoughts on that. Do you want me to?
Well, I say Starks, but I should say Stark and Targaryen.
Yep.
Should I? Yeah, I mean, I really think that this whole episode played up this whole, like, you know, they're all going to hate Dany and they're going to all fight and not get along, but there's 5 episodes left, and I feel like they played that up a lot, and then it's just going to be like the dead are coming and we all better shut up and get along.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting because it made, like, I know it made me feel like, oh God, like they all hate each other and this is ugly, but I think it's not really gonna matter. And even Jon says, like, titles don't matter right now. Like, do you know what's coming? You know? So
it is. Maybe that's part of what makes it awkward too. Is like all along we've been watching. It was mostly like Iron Throne politics, right? With this threat looming, but now it's all of a sudden it's like it's the threat, and there's just a handful of people still doing the Iron Throne politics, mainly Cersei, but
and Sansa,
yeah. Which, I mean, I had most of the people in my bracket that we filled out. Val ran a pool. I had most of them dying, and part of the reason why is there was that line, like, when you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die, right? So I feel like all the characters who are playing the Iron Throne, the Game of Thrones game, are going to die, except for one person. One person will succeed at that. But the people who haven't really been playing that game, like Varys, Tyrion, I feel like are going to survive.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to do it. Yeah.
That's kind of where my head was at.
Yeah.
But, even like a Jaime, I really struggled with Jaime. I struggled with him more than anything. Which, jumping ahead, but we might as well stay within Winterfell when Jaime arrives at the end of the episode, who has also become one of my favorite characters, even though he's done some really horrible things.
Yep.
His redemption arc was fantastic, though. Like
it really was, yeah. As terms of story arcs, I think his might be my favorite.
Oh yeah.
When he arrives at Winterfell and makes eye contact with creepy Bran.
Yes. And
who I was reading. Sorry, just quickly now.
I
was reading online. Whoever wrote this article I was reading described it as Bran being away at tree camp. It just tickled me.
Yeah, that's good.
It's fantastic. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on the whole Jaime thing. He risked everything to honor his word with helping the North against the White. You know, he alienated Cersei, who now wants him dead, which I'm sure we'll talk about that scene.
Yeah.
Most of the people where he's at now probably wouldn't mind seeing him dead.
Yeah.
His allies might be Tyrion and Brienne, and that's probably it.
Because Brienne and Jaime love each other. Side note.
Right.
Well, I mean, rewatching this really helped me put this together, but it really goes way back to when Catelyn released Tyrion, and ever since then Jaime's sort of been working for the Starks. I mean, he sent Brienne, or helped Brienne so that Brienne could help the Starks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's trying to honor that Catelyn setting Tyrion free, like way back in season 2.
Yeah, I never even thought of that. Along. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about the Jaime and Bran reunion. And when it happened, I was like, whoa. Because when they showed him, I was like, oh my God, like a White Walker is sneaking in to Winterfell. Like, this is happening now. And then I was like, wait. And Dan was like, it's Jaime. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't even think about that. But you're right. I mean, you know, he has nobody on his side that he knows of right now. Like, he knows Daenerys is probably not a big fan. Like, he's got to know that, you know? But I'm totally with you. Jaime has become one of my favorite characters. And I think one of the things, like, I don't know, we can talk about, like, the next episode at the end. But I think things will be interesting for Jaime coming up. And I hope he survives. Because I think I'd have a really hard time watching him go.
Yeah. I have a theory
All
on what's
of
going to
them.
happen there, but
Yeah.
I try to stay away from the theory crafting
Me
stuff.
too.
I like to come up with it on my own, but I
Yeah.
don't want to go seek it out anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's just too exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah, I accidentally read one, and it's, like, been hard for me. Because I'm, like, I see so many things, like, even in the first episode. I haven't told you what it is, because I don't want to ruin it if it's the truth. But I'm like, oh, the first episode really made me feel like, yeah, this person's theory is, like, right on right now. And it's hard. It's hard not to tell you.
We should just briefly mention, because we got a lot more to talk about.
I know,
We've gone
seriously.
kind of long already, but
seriously.
John and Dany flying around on dragons. I thought that was. I mean, I don't know. Like, I didn't feel maybe it was necessary because they needed to demonstrate that their love for each other was growing and they had this romance budding. I don't know, but I just found the whole thing silly. I don't know.
I think I did too. I thought it was silly too. I think for me the only thing I took from that was that Rhaegal let Jon ride him, and I thought that was the important part to take from that, and not Jon and Dany going on a little fling in the middle of whatever's going on up there in the north. Like, it was that Jon was on Rhaegal.
Yeah. And I think, too, it did serve a purpose of having a parallel with him and Ygritte.
Yeah, there was definitely that Ygritte.
Like they were going away to somewhere where no one could find them. But I did read an interesting thing, just throwing it out there, and I don't think this ruins anything, but someone was saying that they think the dragons are the actual reincarnations of the characters they're named after. Because if you think about it, they did like close-ups of the dragons' faces, and Rhaegal is named after Rhaegar, who we know is Jon's father, and he was kind of smiling and like almost looked like he was laughing, but Drogon, watching them kiss, was not happy, and that would be Khal Drogo. So it was really interesting. And then Viserion, we know was not a good character, and now he's the bad dragon.
Yeah.
Interesting. Viserys?
Viserys is
the ice dragon now. So it was really interesting. It was like, wow, the exact reincarnation of who they were named for.
Never thought of that.
Really interesting thought.
I mean, the parallels are there with the direwolves too, right? And the Starks.
Right.
Like, their direwolves are reflections of their own personas.
Right. Yep, Nymeria out on her own, and
Yep.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything in Winterfell? I got Bran's an odd duck. We already talked about that.
I cannot figure him out. It's so weird.
Oh,
well, no one can.
The last thing I think is the Sam Harley.
That was for me the biggest moment in the whole episode.
Yeah, that was very telling. I think. I don't know, like you mentioned, Dan, how you could kind of put together the narrative that the North is not happy with some of the things that Daenerys has done, and this is just another example, like of reasons people will probably turn on Daenerys, because Daenerys and Jorah go down to talk to Sam and thank him, and in that conversation, Daenerys admits to killing Sam's father and his brother. His father was kind of an asshat, but he liked his brother, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Dick on.
that he took that pretty hard, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
No. Oh.
So I had a couple thoughts here. First, obviously, he was saddened by his brother passing. He seemed sad about his father too. I still think, as much of a jerk as his dad was to him, I still think he wanted to prove himself to his father and have his father be proud of him, and he just didn't have that opportunity anymore.
Right.
So I think that factored into that, his sadness about his dad even being burned by a dragon.
Yeah, I was shocked that Sam didn't know yet. I was like, all of you, like, someone has to tell him, but I guess, like, you don't really want to tell him that because he's Sam. That was like a rip my heart out and stomp on it a little bit moment. Like, that was heartbreaking, just because you love Sam so much. You want to see him, like, prove his worth, to his father, and like, he's the nerd, and like and I like root for the nerds, because I'm one of them. So it's like,
he was in the Winterfell library reading when when Daenerys and Jorah came looking for him. So
but
a bookish type.
Yep.
Yeah, but I hope it doesn't change relationships, like with him and John and whatever, but I totally get it if it does. So it's like...
Well, you know, Sam was the one that petitioned to have John be the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. So, you know, he's capable of persuasion. That's even more apparent in the books. It's a lot more in depth, his persuasion for getting John to be the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. So, you know, going into the next scene is when Sam goes into the crypts of Winterfell, finally sees John again, and it tells him that he's actually the heir to the Iron Throne of the Seven Kingdoms. Another great scene. These two scenes back to back were my favorite in the entire thing.
Yeah.
And could you imagine having to act that scene as Kit Harington?
No.
Which I thought he nailed it.
Oh my God,
that would be very difficult.
The acting on this show, like, I was reading something that was like, it was just like, it's kind of like The Office. Like, you have all of the right people playing the right parts.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
The acting, I say that to you at least like 5 times an episode. I'm like, I just can't get over this acting. Like, he's not even Kit Harington. He is Jon Snow or Aegon Targaryen, whoever he is. Like, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, but the genesis of that conversation that I got is Sam is now pushing John to claim his rights to the throne after he found out Daenerys was responsible for killing his father and brother, who were her prisoners. She executed prisoners just because they wouldn't bend the knee, and he asks John specifically, would you have done that? Yeah. And John doesn't quite answer the question. He's like, I have had to execute people who disobeyed me. The difference being they betrayed John. Obviously, Randall and Dickon Tarly didn't betray Daenerys. They were just enemy combatants,
right?
Who wouldn't bend the knee for her, and she burned them alive. And I thought that was a mistake when she did it.
Oh yeah,
we
were
pretty
both
sure
like,
I talked
what
about
is
that.
she doing?
Tyrion tried very hard to talk her out of it. But I think these things are going to be held up as examples, like we were saying, of why Daenerys shouldn't why the Seven Kingdoms aren't keen on necessarily having a Targaryen be back on the throne. I know Jon is a Targaryen, but he was not raised as a Targaryen. He wasn't raised in exile in another part of the world. He was raised by Ned Stark, who everyone, even now in this episode, knew him as an honorable man and an honest person and all that stuff. So
does the North, as you're talking, I started thinking, does the North have a reason once Jon comes out with that news, or whoever comes out with that news, does the North have a reason to hate him for it?
I don't think so. He was raised by Ned Stark.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that's the key difference there. He was raised in the North by Ned Stark, who is very much beloved by everyone in the North, other than the Boltons, who are now gone. But
so technically,
talk about asshats.
One of two things has to happen, right? Daenerys has to say, "Okay, Jon, all right, go ahead," or they have to squabble, right? They have to fight.
Yeah. I talked to you about this, but I think Daenerys is going to see the writing on the wall, see people don't really want her. The people that want her to be queen were the people that she brought over with her from a different part of the world, not citizens of Westeros. So I think that's going to factor in. They're strangers in the land. I think Daenerys is going to see the writing on the wall, see, okay, people don't want me to be the queen. And I think she's going to sacrifice herself.
Oh yeah, maybe that. I was going to say I don't think she would. I don't think she would give up so easily.
No, I think she's gonna see an opportunity, and she's gonna go down in a blaze of glory in the war.
Definitely in a blaze.
Oh, she's definitely going. Like I have in my notes, Dany isn't going to survive. There is absolutely no way. I do not see her coming out of any of this alive, be it however she goes down. But talking about Jon, I actually question if Jon is even going to reveal who he is to anyone. Because because he just keeps saying, titles don't matter. None of this matters. I've fought the army of the dead twice. You people don't understand, So I wonder if he's going to be like Sam and Bran, you can't tell anyone until this is all over with or whatever.
Right.
And he knows who Dany is. I think, he was very shocked when he heard about Randall, Tarly, and Dickon. Like, he was like, whoa, like, he never knew that about her. So I think he is going to start to question, like, who is she? How much Targaryen does she have?
Yeah, he might want to be king as a sense of duty.
Right.
If he sees any of the Mad Queen in her, and he has obviously has the better claim. If he thinks he can do more good than she, that might be his reason for wanting to be king over her.
Yeah. But my other question is the North going to take the word of Bran and Sam? Because everyone keeps saying whatever Bran's doing.
I know Sam still has the journal.
That's true.
About
true.
The Lyanna and Rhaegar and their secret marriage.
Right. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Yeah.
Stay in the North with the one last bit. I think this happened at the end of the episode, right? When they get to the last hearth. Tormund
towards the end of the episode.
Company. I forget who's with him. Tormund.
Dolorous Ed. Beric Dondarrion.
Yeah, Beric Dondarrion. They all show up. Speaking of that, just quickly, is Thoros of Myr dead? Did he die?
Yeah.
Yeah, he died.
Yep.
Okay.
He died on the frozen lake part.
Yeah.
Where they were surrounded.
Yeah. The white bear.
Because he was attacked by a dead bear.
Yep.
Anyway, they show up at Last Hearth and nobody's there. It looks like bad things have happened, and then they run into Ed Tolet in the Night's Watch, which is cool. I'm so glad that Ed Tolet is still alive.
Me too. I love him.
He's just one of those characters that you don't know much about, but you're always happy to see him.
Yeah.
They see Ned Umber stuck to the wall with appendages. I forget the name of
making a spiral.
Design.
Yeah, the spiral.
Yeah. And as they're talking about it, he wakes up and they burn him alive.
I thought Tormund was going down, and I was like, Tormund cannot go down this way.
Ned Umber had a knife and tried to stab whoever was standing closest. I think it was Tormund.
Freakiest scene of the entire show for me, and I've watched it 7 times.
Yeah.
I freaking hated that scene. Like, I mean, I liked the scene, but like,
disturbing.
It was so disturbing. When his eyes popped open, I was like, oh my God.
To me, it was the screams that he did, the otherworldly screams when he was being burned.
Yeah, that was
awful.
Just wicked creepy.
We'll move quickly over to Yara and Theon. Yara is a prisoner, but she's rescued by Theon, and then Yara gives Theon the okay to head back to Winterfell to help with the battle there. I don't know. Do you guys have much to say about that?
No, I don't. I don't know what Theon's purpose is here, but
redemption.
Yeah.
Guilt.
Yeah. I thought Yara rescuing Yara was a little too easy.
Yeah, Beardless just said that on the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, surprisingly easy.
Yeah, it was really easy. But I also think that kind of shows the stupidity of Euron, because he is, he's such a jackass.
He was too busy doing something else.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. So I don't know. That was all really weird, but I was sad to see that, I don't think we'll see Yara again until the end of the show. I think that, some people might flee to the Iron Islands if they need to, because that might be the only safe place left. But I love Yara. She's always been one of my favorites. So I don't know. That was really weird. It was just weird. But I'm interested to see what happens, with Theon and if he goes and does anything right, So, but that was pretty much it.
Well, speaking of Euron really wants to shtup Cersei.
Yep.
He makes that very clear, and she makes it very clear that she won't, but then she does. So there's that. We also meet Captain Strickland.
Yep.
That is the first time we've met him, right?
Yep.
He is the leader of the Golden Company, which is the mercenary army that Cersei has hired.
Harry Strickland.
Yep.
To help clean up after the dead battle at Winterfell. Probably a bad strategy, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with all of that. But then, I don't know if you guys have anything to say on that, but in the interest of time.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Yeah.
I'll just jump to the last thing that I have, and there might be more. Feel free to chime in.
The only
Cersei
thing...
basically hires Bronn to kill Jaime and Tyrion.
Ugh, yeah. I don't think Bronn can do it. Yeah.
I think he will. I think he'll try.
You think he will?
I really do. Yeah. He's always been motivated by money, and even though he had good chemistry and a nice rapport with Tyrion, there was always a payout at the end of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He's close with Jaime. Jaime loves his brother. I feel like Jaime and Bronn are going to fight. Bronn was training Jaime when he had his one hand. I feel like that's got to happen. I don't know. Maybe not. I could be crazy, but
no, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Like, it could be Bronn and Jaime at the end battling it out. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to see that.
I don't want to see it. One thing I was going to note quickly about the Cersei thing was just her reaction after Euron was like, I'm going to put a prince in your belly or whatever. And her reaction was really hard to read.
Yeah.
Was it like, is she pregnant? Is she not able to be pregnant? Like, what? We got no indication of that. Her reaction was so, like, I don't know how to read that, you know? She looked sad, but, like, smug. I don't know. But that was just an interesting part.
I'm wondering if Qyburn put a baby in her somehow.
Oh, yeah. I think Qyburn's involved for sure.
Because he's still around, and
he's so
what
slimy.
else is he going to do?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway. Just want to throw that in there. But yeah, Jaime, Bronn, I don't know. Well, we were talking about with Bronn, how remember Tyrion said when they were killing the Robert Baratheon kid babies, whatever, and Tyrion was like, you know, Bronn, if I came in and told you to go kill babies, like, what would you do? And he's like, I'd ask you how much. So we know he is motivated by money. So, and he already has the money, right? It was out like outside in a wagon or something.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, but I wonder if the fact that he's now an anointed knight is going to change any of that.
I don't know.
I don't know. Remember when Tyrion wanted him to be his champion and he just said it wasn't worth his life?
Well, yeah, but that's different than assassinating two characters that he spent a lot of time with, one of which raised him up.
I just don't think there's a noble bone in his body. I really don't.
Yeah, that could be.
I could totally see that.
Based on the evidence.
Sure.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
And then, not that I don't like him. I think he's a great character, but...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What else you got, Corey?
That's all I have for plot points. I don't know. I might have missed some. Arya goes to Gendry with the design for a new weapon, which we didn't see very closely what that was, but that's probably going to factor in somewhere.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved the Arya and Gendry interaction. I actually told you back, like, when they were together and they were younger, that I thought they would end up together somehow.
Well, Robert did say you have a daughter, I have a son. Well, I guess that's still the case.
Right.
Let's join our houses.
Right. So I think that might happen.
You know, I guess Gendry is the last Baratheon
that we know of.
That we know of. At least in the show, it's different in the books. But yeah, and then Arya. So.
So Arya and Gendry, Iron Throne at the end, huh?
Yeah,
maybe.
Can I say I actually had Gendry sitting on the throne, and then we rewatched season 7, and I was like, "There's no way," and I changed my mind.
When I was doing the bracket, I was so sure he was going to die, but after seeing him in this episode, I'm not so sure anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a little thick.
Yeah.
His physique and everything, he just strikes me as just like a thick meathead who's going to do something stupid.
Just like his dad. Yeah.
Try to be heroic and die.
Like Robert Baratheon.
Yeah, exactly. I could totally see him trying to do something. I feel like he's just too big for his britches. Like, you know, like he's he's one of those characters, but I like him a lot. I'm trying to think if I had anything. Oh, okay. I only had one other thing about Jaime, but
Go
I
ahead.
don't know.
Yeah.
Just looking ahead to the next episode, because they did show in like a trailer, right?
Yeah. Yep.
They showed Jaime kind of like going on trial with Dany for, like, you know, killing her father. And I think that no one knows other than, is it just Brienne knows?
Brienne, and we would assume Bran.
Right, Brienne and Bran know that the Mad King was going to kill everybody, and that's why Jaime killed him. So I think that Brienne or Bran or both are going to come forward in defense of Jaime to say, like, nobody knew this until now, but this is actually why Jaime did it. So I think that, they kind of hyped it up in that trailer, but I don't think it's going to turn into anything major. I think they're just going to be like, okay, like, come fight with us eventually. But it'll be interesting to see if that's revealed, because Jaime deserves that in his arc,
You know what I'm thinking? Trial by combat, Brienne and Jorah.
Oh.
Brienne's going to stand up for Jaime, and Jorah's going to stand up for
Daenerys.
Oh my God.
That would be interesting.
I would not survive.
I mean, I would assume Bran would
gosh.
win that.
Yeah.
I assume
She beat the Hound in single combat. I would assume
Yeah.
Cher beat Jorah.
Yeah.
But Jorah's a good fighter, but I don't know
Jorah's
if
good.
he's
Don't forget
Brienne's
the
quality.
sandpits of Marine, Dan.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. The last thing I wrote in my notes was, I'm not ready for any of the characters to go, but I feel like it's imminent.
Yeah,
So-
that was as excited as I was when it got to be about 20 minutes until the episode started. I started to get really nervous.
He did. He was like, I'm so nervous. I don't know if I'm ready.
Yeah, and I know it's only going to get worse every episode.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, I feel like
drop
it's...
like flies.
Oh, yeah. I think it's really going to start, like, the next episode. It's got to, right? There's only 5. Like, how are there 5? There's only 5. I don't get it.
At least we get some long ones there at the
Yeah,
end, right?
exactly.
Like hour and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm so glad it's back, and I want it to be Sunday already.
I was just gonna ask, is the next episode this Sunday, even though it's Easter?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering about that. Yeah.
That's good.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't think I'd be able to wait another 10 days or whatever.
Oh, my gosh. No. Nope. Yeah.
So
Anyway, exciting stuff. I
Yeah.
don't have anything else to add. I don't know if you guys do.
Nope, I got nothing.
Yeah.
We'll be back again next week.
Yes. Hopefully, no, there won't be any tears next week for some of our favorite characters dying.
So, yeah, thanks for joining us, and
Yeah.
we'll see you next week.